the Hindu current affairs for beginners. Let's start our today's session. Before starting our session, first let us see answers for the questions from our previous video. World Press Freedom Index is published by which among the following? In our today's video, we are going to see in detail about this World Press Freedom Index. Here the answer is Reporters Without Borders. The answer is C. The next question is, consider the following pairs. Here I have given some of the communities that were recently mentioned in news and to which country these communities belong to. Rohingyas, they belong to Myanmar. Uyghurs, they belong to Xinjiang province of China. And Madeshis, they belong to Nepal. As all the three were correctly paired, the answer here is D, 1, 2 and 3. Now let's start our today's session, and these are all the topics that we are going to cover in detail in our today's video. And the link for the notes of this video is already available in the description below, where you can download it in both PDF as well as in document format. Our first article is, in a first, East Asian birds make Andaman stopover. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of environment, and here for the first time bronze cuckoo, which is the native of Australia and New Guinea, and Zapes flycatcher of China and Zavan pond heron of Thailand, they were spotted in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Since 2004 Indonesian tsunami, the sight of new species has increased on the island, was said by the Geological Survey of India. So from the prelims point of view, from this article, now we are going to see about this Andaman and Nicobar Islands as well as GSI, Geological Survey of India. Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This archipelago is composed of many big and small islands, and these are the continuation of Arakan mountain range of Myanmar. And these islands are situated in Bay of Bengal, extending from 6 degrees 45 minutes north to 13 degrees 45 minutes north, and from 92 degrees 10 minutes east to 94 degrees 15 minutes east, for a distance of about nearly 600 kilometers. Port Blair is the administrative capital of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and it lies in the South Andaman. Here Port Blair lies in South Andaman. Now let's see about this. These Andaman Nicobar Islands were also called as Emerald Islands, and this entire group of islands is divided into two broad categories. One is Andaman in the north, Great Andaman, and Nicobar in the south. So the Great Andaman group of islands in the north is separated by a 10-degree channel. It is separated by a 10-degree channel from this Nicobar in the south. And these islands are separated from one another by a very narrow straits. These Andaman Islands, they were further divided into this Great Andaman and Little Andaman. And this again, Great Andaman is divided into North Andaman, Middle Andaman and South Andaman. North Andaman, Middle Andaman and South Andaman, and then comes the Little Andaman. The Duncan Passage separates this South Andaman from Little Andaman. And among these Nicobar Islands, the Great Nicobar, this Great Nicobar is the largest, and it is the southernmost island, and it is very close to the Sumatra Islands of Indonesia. And the Car Nicobar is the northernmost island of this Nicobar group of islands. Here the Barren Islands, which is the north of Port Blair, here this Barren Island which is in the north of Port Blair is the only active volcano in India, and the Norkondam Island, which is located in the northeast of North Andaman, is also a volcanic island. And the Saddle Peak in North Andaman, there is a peak known as Saddle Peak, which is around 737 meters in North Andaman, is the highest peak. And the southernmost point of India is the Indira Point, which is also known as, formerly known as Pygmalion Point and Parsons Point. It is the southernmost point of Great Nicobar Islands. Then what about the climatic conditions of this Andaman Nicobar Islands? These islands, they experience equatorial climate with tropical rainforests, which were influenced by seasonal flow of monsoon winds, and the coastal regions have mangrove forests. Now let's see a previous year prelims question that appeared in 2014 related to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Which one of the following pairs of islands is separated from each other by 10-degree channel? It is the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The next thing is Geological Survey of India. This is established in 1961 and its headquarters is in Kolkata, and it is the subordinate organization of the Ministry of Environment and Forests. What is the purpose of this? What it does? It is established to promote survey, exploration, research and documentation on various aspects of animal taxonomy in the Indian subcontinent. Then what about its legality? Here, this Geological Survey of India is designated repository. It is like a database for National Geological Collection as per section 39 of National Biodiversity Act of 2002. Then what are the objectives of this? As we said here, it is to explore, survey, document, research of the faunal diversity, that is the animal taxonomy in various states, ecosystems and protected areas of India, and to do a periodic review of the status of threatened as well as endemic species, and to prepare a red data book of fauna of India and fauna of states. This is included in this red data book, and it conducts bioecological studies on some selected important communities and species. These are the main activities of this GEDSI: to study the fauna of states and fauna of conservation areas, fauna of important ecosystems, and to periodic review of the status survey of endangered species and fauna of India, and ecological studies and environmental impact assessments. The next thing is medicine labels in regional language. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of issues related to health. The Drugs Technical Advisory Board has recommended to amend Rule 96 of Drugs and Cosmetics Rules of 1945 for labeling the iron tablets and polio drops that were distributed to the children under government programs with name and expiry date in Hindi and other regional languages. So from now onwards, both these iron tablets and polio drops will have the expiry date and name in Hindi and other regional languages. So from the prelims point of view, what is important for us here is we should know about this Drugs Technical Advisory Board. What is this Drugs Technical Advisory Board? This is constituted as per Drugs and Cosmetics Act of 1940, and it is the highest statutory decision making authority. It is the highest decision making body on technical matters that are related to drugs in India, and it is part of Central Drugs Standard Control Organization in the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And with regard to this CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, we have discussed in our 13th April video, and it starts at 5 minutes 21 seconds. Please look into it for this CDSCO. The next article is Expropriation in the Name of Conservation. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of polity, and here there is an amendment that was proposed to the Indian Forest Act of 1927, which will have a serious impact on the traditional forest dwellers. So from the prelims point of view, we should know about this Panchayat's Extension to Scheduled Areas Act of 1996 that is mentioned in this article. This law was enacted by the Centre in order to cover the scheduled areas which are not covered in 73rd Amendment or Panchayat Raj Act of Indian Constitution. And this Panchayat Extension Act for tribal areas under 5th schedule, it devolves power and authority to the Gram Sabha and Panchayats. And in the scheduled areas, there will be a minimum of 50% seats reservation for scheduled tribes at all the tiers of Panchayat. This was enacted on December 24th of 1996, and it is enacted to enable the Gram Sabhas to govern their natural resources and to protect the traditions, beliefs and culture of tribal communities, to manage and protect common properties based on their traditional system of management and protection, and to have the rights over minor forest produce, powers to restore land to the tribals, and control over money lending to tribals, tribal welfare activities by social organizations, and local plans and sub-plans for the development of tribal areas and communities, and to approve plans, programs for social and economic development, and to identify the beneficiaries under poverty alleviation programs, and to certify the utilization of funds by Gram Panchayats. The next article is Internal Resolve Trumps External Threats. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of international relations. Here, India is ranked in 148th position in the World Press Freedom Index released by Reporters Without Borders. So now, from the prelims point of view, now we are going to see about this World Press Freedom Index, Reporters Without Borders, and section 124A that were mentioned in this article. First, let us see about this World Press Freedom Index of 2019, where Norway ranked in the first position, followed by Finland and Sweden, where our India is ranked in 140th position, but in 2018 it is in 138th position. Now it dropped by 2 ranks and it is ranked at 140 position out of 180 countries. Who publishes this World Press Freedom Index? It is the Reporters Without Borders. Since 2002 is publishing this index, and India is ranked as 140 out of 180 countries. Now let us see about this index. This index will rank the countries according to the level of freedom that is available to the journalists in 180 countries. It will not rank them based on the government policies. And this evaluation is based on the measures of pluralism, media independence, and the quality of legal framework and the safety of journalists in the 180 countries. It also includes the indicators of what is the level of media freedom violations in each country. And this index is compiled by a questionnaire in 20 languages by experts all over the world. Next, let us see about this Reporters Without Borders, which publishes this World Press Freedom Index. It is a non-profit organization. It works to combat attacks on journalists around the world and document these attacks. The next thing, what is this section 124A? It deals with sedition, and it is introduced by the British colonial government in 1870 in order to suppress the freedom struggle which was prevailing at that time. What is meant by this sedition? This sedition is considered to bring hatred or contempt towards the government that is established by law in India. And if a person is charged with this sedition charges, then he will be punished with an imprisonment for life and fine, or imprisonment for 3 years and fine. The next article is China draws up tighter rules on human gene embryo trials. This article comes under GS paper 3 under the topic of science and technology. The Chinese government has imposed strict rules on research involving human gene and embryos. So from the prelims point of view, from this article we should know what is meant by this gene editing and what is this CRISPR Cas9. First of all, what is meant by this gene editing? Gene editing means altering the selected DNA sequence in a living cell. How can we alter this sequence? By making some specific changes to the DNA of a cell or organism. Then how it is done? How to alter the sequence of DNA? This will be done by making a cut at the specific DNA sequence with enzymes called as engineered nucleases. And when this cut, the sequence which is cut, if it is repaired by the cell, a change or edit is made to the sequence. That is known as gene editing. Then after this DNA was cut, a modified piece of DNA which is similar in sequence to the site of the cut, it will be introduced by the enzyme. It will be cut by the engineered nucleases. Then again it will be replaced. It will be put in the same size. The modified sequence will be introduced by an enzyme known as DNA ligase enzyme. So the cell uses this modified piece of DNA as a template to repair the break or filling the break with a copy of new DNA. Then what is this CRISPR Cas9? Clustered, regularly interspaced palindromic repeats. CRISPR. We have to look these two separately. First, let us see this CRISPR. Clustered, regularly interspaced palindromic repeats. This is a tool used for gene editing. And we have said that a particular sequence of DNA will be removed and this will be modified. That means editing will be done to that particular sequence. Then how to locate that particular sequence? It will be done by this CRISPR. This is the tool used to locate, to tell any genomic location in order to remove, add or alter that DNA sequence. Then what is this Cas9? This Cas9 stands for CRISPR associated protein 9, and this is the nucleus part which will cut that specific location which was identified by CRISPR. Cas9 is the enzyme which will cut the specific DNA sequence. This is the faster, cheaper and more accurate and more efficient than other existing genome editing tools. Now let's see a previous year prelims question that appeared in 2018. Consider the following pairs, terms sometimes seen in the news and in the context or topic. What is the context or topic was given here? Bella 2 experiment, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, digital cryptocurrency, CRISPR Cas9, particle physics. If we just know about this CRISPR Cas9, I think we can eliminate the options and we can find the answer. Just now we have seen about this CRISPR Cas9. Is it related to particle physics? No, it is a gene editing tool. So we can eliminate option 3. If we eliminate option 3, only option that is left here is B, 2 only. So the answer here is B. The next article is workers and refugees are not criminals. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of international relations. Here the article is talking about there needs to be a global action in case of refugees, and from this article, as this is an editorial article, it will be analyzed by Dr. Rambabu sir in deep video. But here let us see a term known as xenophobic. What is meant by this xenophobia? It is a fear or hatred towards foreigners, fear of foreigners, people from different cultures or strangers is known as xenophobia. The next article is rough road. This article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of international relations, and this is about the Mueller's probe report which was released few days ago and what would be its consequences. So from the prelims point of view, we should know what is this Mueller probe report. What is this Mueller report? Here the Special Counsel investigation of 2017 to 2019. It is also known as this Mueller probe or Mueller investigation. What for is this investigation? This investigation is regarding if there is any interference of Russian government in 2016 presidential election of United States. This is to investigate regarding Russia's interference, Russian government's interference in 2016 US presidential elections. The next article is being fair and transparent. Here, this article deals with what are the measures that the Election Commission needs to take regarding funding and campaigning. And this article comes under GS paper 2 under the topic of polity, and from the prelims point of view we should know about this Election Commission of India and Model Code of Conduct, which we have been seeing continuously from April 1st. So again, these topics were in detail discussed. What is Model Code of Conduct and in what areas this has to be followed, and what is this Election Commission and what is its composition, appointment process and removal process for the election commissioners were in detail discussed in our 18th April video, and it starts from 5 minutes 54 seconds. Though I'm not explaining this here, but again I have provided you these two in the notes clearly, but for the detailed explanation please look into our 18th April's video. Now let's see at today's prelims questions. Recently Mueller report is seen in news. It is related to the affairs of India and China, China and US, US and Russia, US and Iran. The next question is Reporters Without Borders is. Try to answer these questions and post your answers in the comment box. We'll see the answers for these questions in our next video. And the link for the notes of this video is already available in the description below. You can download the notes from there. Thank you.